Fuck Vegas.
Del Taco in Circus. 2 out of 3 stars.
Yeah.
Not the best I've ever had.
Will not return.
Will not, yeah. Would not go again. Circus Taco Bell. Ugh, I still taste those gray sliders.
From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. We got a great show for you.
Doubt it.
It's worth 4 out of 5 stars.
Yes.
And now broadcasting from the chair, and that guy is Dr. Jim Job, and I'm Nick Tangeman. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
If you'd like to hear my tale of woe,
Whoa!
patreon.com/therapy. Jim got on a plane again.
Jim's Tale of Woe.
Whoa. Yes. It's worth every penny of that dollar at patreon.com/therapy.
It's worth most pennies of that dollar.
Yeah, not all of them. I mean, you got to subtract some for sales.
I mean, if you really care to hear about Jim's opinion on cheap food that you'll never eat at anyway.
And Nashville, I traveled, man. That was a big deal. That's
You did.
Jim's
You
travel
did leave
review.
the house, so
Thank
good
you.
job.
All right, I did things, and I regret every bit of it. If I do it over again, I would not do it over again. So, luckily, it's over.
You mean
with.
your sister's wedding? You wouldn't go
no
again?
show, just no show, and leave them at the altar. They'll figure it out on their own. It's about as legitimate as me doing it.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, Jacob and I do have a plan in place to destroy that marriage.
Yeah.
So-
Patreon.com/therapy. You can find out how to join the party of ruining my little sister's
And
life.
by destroy, you mean just point out that it's already
Illegal.
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't.
just
It doesn't.
illegitimate
It's
from
illegitimate.
go.
That's the word.
Other announcements. Big
Yeah.
news from Tangeman.
Well, I mean, it's not
Huge
really,
news.
It's not okay.
Toyotathon news. President's Day sale.
It's definitely not Toyotathon.
Oh,
but
Toyota.
what is? Okay, so we're
Certainly not Happy Honda Days.
We're getting to that point now where I'm.
Nick Tangeman has announcements.
Announcements. Whoa.
Yeah, so we're getting close to the launch of the fitness business. Fizness, yes.
Oh, shit.
Fitting this business up your ass.
Do that. That's the name. Oh, we're done. No
So-
announcement. Announcement canceled.
All right. Well, yeah. So we got to name this thing. So here's the thing. For those of you who are new, I've completed my certified personal trainer. I've got my certified nutrition coach. So I'm hopefully going to be starting up a fitness program, but the program itself is really geared towards applying a mental health kind of component to fitness. So really kind of looking at applying some of the things that I've learned as far as addictions treatment and kind of applying that, some motivational interviewing stuff, some solution-focused brief therapy stuff, and applying that into a fitness program. I need to name the program.
Well, you
So
did
that's
until
what I
we just
need.
named it.
That's what I need help with. And so I'm trying to find some ways of combining different like therapy with fitness. I thought about TheraFit,
Ooh, that sounds nice.
but I think that's already being used by somebody in Vegas.
Nah.
I think so. That sounds
and it's
very
not,
familiar.
It's not fitness
Yeah.
necessarily. It's like a I don't know what it is.
How hard do you want to go on the pun thing? Or how open to your puns? Can we call Paul? I think Paul's
Okay.
really good at that.
TheraFit is already a shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. It's a
Yeah.
shoe.
Let's call
Yes.
it Skechers. I think that's a solid name.
Well, Robert Browning Jr. Mint has already thrown out a few ideas, which I have kindly rejected.
Okay.
The Asylum of Weight Loss. We're crazy about weight loss.
Oh, then you could get the inflatable guy. We put a little straight jacket on him.
I'm already regretting this. You know what?
Nick's Asylum of Losing Weight.
I'm just gonna scrap the whole thing. I'm done. I'm not gonna do this. I've changed my
You're on
mind.
a roll.
Crazy about losing weight. All right, go ahead. What did Robert
Commercial
Browning
writes
Jr. say?
itself, man. Take the suggestion. Take the help. That's you're too proud. Take the help.
But anyway, if you have any ideas, listeners,
We'd love to hear them.
I'd love to hear them. Let
Yep.
us know.
So if you would like to comment on this episode, patreon.com/therapy. We always appreciate the insiders giving us feedback. And I'm going to advocate for you for a second.
Oh.
From time to time, in the
Okay.
5 years of this show, from time to time, I have gone to the audience and asked for help on something. And so I'm going to advocate for Nick. bring him good ideas that are serious. That would be very helpful. He's asking for a legitimate favor. You like Nick? Bring him good ideas. Post the jokes on the Discord. Post the good ideas on the Patreon. We'll make the jokes. We're gonna make the jokes.
I'm not disappointed with any of the jokes.
Cost of entry for a joke is a good idea. If you want to submit a joke, you better also put in a good idea. I think, obviously, Jacobs counts for both.
If you don't work out with Nick Tangeman, you belong in the loony bin.
Nick's loony weight loss. I'm crazy. This is such a good idea.
Just to clarify, it's not just weight loss.
I just
want to make that clear.
Yeah, we said that.
Yes.
It's also inflatable arm whaling tube man.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are both good ideas. Yeah. So if you would like to submit ideas, you can. You could also just submit them on our Tumblr. So just go to our website, patreon.com/therapy. If you have ideas, submit it as if you were writing us a question. Just drop it in there. Or patreon.com. Or tweet us at PodTherapyGuys.
Yeah.
Or on the Facebook, Pod Therapy, just Pod Therapy on Facebook, or the Instagram. Anywhere you can reach out to us, reach out to us. All of our DMs are open, and we are fielding those. Also,
Get fit with Nick. He'll fix your marriage.
Let's do that. I like this. Quit pizza and Coke. Nick's addiction and weight loss program. Oh, let's just do that. Why don't we just run with that?
And tire repair.
Yeah.
Also, quitting cocaine is not a good way to lose weight.
That's true. Yeah, we got to start with the one problem and then pivot to the other. Yeah, we got to lean hard on option A. Then
Those
go
are
to
not,
option
those,
B.
those two things don't go together well.
That's true. We got to pace ourselves. Other big announcement that's in the news that's completely official by the time you're hearing this. The suicide hotline has now launched nationally as 3 numbers. It is 988. 988. Don't kill yourself.
All over the country.
That's right. All over the country. 988.
Exciting.
And so if you throw that into the phone, if anybody out there is having suicidal thoughts, or if you just would like to let everybody else know that, if you run HR at your business, wherever you work or interact with other humans, just remind them. Let them know. We're trying to get the word out everywhere. Hey, did you hear about... and so I'm looking for a fun... This is another thing you guys can help us with. We need to find and help the suicide hotline. We need to come up with a fun, tagline for this. Because we need to help people.
This at all.
We got to help people figure it out, Tangeman.
I don't like where this is going.
988's hard to remember.
You'd be crazy not to call the suicide
988.
hotline.
I do not like this.
That's a terrible idea.
Before it's too late, call 988. We need a jingle, guys. Oh, we need a jingle. Justin, we need a jingle.
If you rounded third and you're heading for home, go ahead and pick up the phone, call 988.
No, Jim, you need to shut the hell up.
These are good ideas.
No,
I'm just
they're
saying, this is the work we need to do. That's going to be our contribution to society is some kind of fun tag and jingle that goes with 988.
Yeah, hi, 988. Is this the suicide hotline?
Yes.
Oh, good.
How can we help you, sir?
I'll just check it. Thank you.
No. Dial back. Call him back.
We don't have caller ID.
988. If you are thinking about giving up, give them a call. So make sure that you guys share that with everybody everywhere. We want to get the word out. 988 and submit your Nick's fitness program ideas.
Fit Nick.
Let's just do that. Fit Nick. That's a great idea.
I don't really love fake rhymes, but I love Fit Nick.
Fit Nick. This is a great idea, man. We got to work on a Nick's jingle too.
Fit Nick.
Well,
Fit Nick.
Fit Nick.
Let's keep workshopping this.
Okay, yeah. No bad ideas, guys. Especially bad ideas.
But
some bad ideas. All ideas welcome. All right, we got some great questions for today's show. First one comes from Anonymous. Anonymous has been writing in a lot lately. Have you guys noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
Anonymous puts in a lot
popular.
of... Thank you, Anonymous. You've been really keeping the show afloat. Fear of confrontation. Hey, guys, thanks a lot for your podcast. I'm a new listener and have not made it to listen to all the episodes by now, so sorry if this question has already been answered. I consider myself a pretty self-conscious person. I think I found the root of all my mental issues. I'm having periods of anxiety and even an almost constant panic attack-like situation, which is really exhausting. It happens 1 to 2 times a year for at least a couple of months in a row. Initially, it was a phobia of vomiting, which caused anxiety, which caused an actual sensation of sickness, and it was really horrible. Now I'm feeling anxious to be stuck in traffic in the one exact place where I've been involved in some kind of road rage incident without an actual fight, but still. I am also slightly scared to return to my second apartment where I'm currently making some kind of renovation because of the conflict with my neighbor about smoking near my window. Recently, I had a verbal fight with a guy in a grocery store row, and I was turning the situation over and over again in my head. And it happens after each emotional confrontation or argument with whoever. I'm not a small guy, and I'm a bit into martial arts, so I'm pretty sure I'm capable to beat the shit out of like any average person. But something mentally...
Then what are we talking about?
Yeah, you're fine. Problem solved, buddy. Just knock one down. You'll feel great.
I'm just writing in to brag.
Yeah, I think that's... Anyway, I solved my own problem by the end of this letter. Take care, Anonymous. I could probably beat the shit out of the average person, but something mentally keeps me from feeling right during or after a confrontation.
Good.
So, that is probably a good thing. Where should I start, and what could I do to try to even stop these intrusive thoughts? How could I harvest the courage to stand my ground? It's really annoying, despite the fact that I'm fully aware and self-conscious of it, and it prevents me from making my daily routine sometimes. My wife and I also plan on having a baby, and I'm scared as hell that I might actually teach my children not to be able to confront people appropriately, because I think that's a super important thing to know. Thanks a lot. Oh, it's not anonymous. It's from Sharta. Pronouns are he and him. Or Charta. How would you pronounce that?
I'm not going to
CH or
try.
SH?
Charta.
Edward.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Maybe Ed for short.
Right.
This is a good question. I definitely, if you're playing Jim's Neurotic Bingo at home,
Which we
my
are.
God, I relate to that. Duh.
You fight a lot of people in grocery stores?
Oh, on average 2 a week. Yeah.
Jim,
just
how
depends.
often do you stop a stranger
Yeah.
in life
Uh-huh.
to express some opinion to them?
Yeah. Well, thanks to the podcast, a lot less, because I can just
Okay.
do that here.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I get it all out of my system.
Do you do this, though, in life?
No. What?
Okay.
Why would I talk to anybody ever? No. Anywhere I go, I just look at the ground and just shuffle my feet around, hoping to God I don't interact with anybody. That's mostly what
Okay.
it is. I have such a fear of confrontation. I do not like that.
But
oh God,
we
I'm anxious
just
reading
spent
that
the
letter.
entire Patreon talking about
Bad things that happened to me. Not that I've said anything to anybody else.
But the way you told the story saying that you talked to them,
Who?
TSA.
Oh, what? No, I asked
And-
where my great aunt was.
Okay, so the way that when you
I
have
don't
confrontations,
complain to things.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
So-
no.
So this is stuff that kind of happens in your head,
Yes.
but then when you actually
Yes.
do it,
That is subtext.
you're more like,
Okay.
These are Jim's
excuse me, sir,
italicized
if
thoughts.
it's not too much of a problem,
Yes. Yes.
while in your head you're like, look, you piece of shit.
Yeah. That is 100% what
Okay.
happens.
I gotcha.
can't do that.
I gotcha.
Like if I'm in I've had situations where I've had like a weird, here's an example. Another thing that happened in Nashville. My mom, we rented a car. She backed into a giant stone mailbox at this old lady's house and smashed it to bits. So my mother didn't realize this happened. And she was like 2 houses away from
Wait,
the
what?
house we were staying at.
Your mom ran over a stone mailbox and didn't realize
Well,
it?
she realized it when she hit it. So
Oh,
she
okay.
didn't, what I mean is like she didn't mean to.
I'm not out of my mind, right?
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it sounded like.
Yeah.
So my mom goes down the wrong street and trying to get to this Airbnb
Okay.
we were at. And then she realizes she turned down the wrong one. She throws it in reverse, looks at the camera thing, doesn't see the mailbox, goes in reverse, smashes into this thing. It's brittle all over the place. She's shaken up. She's uncomfortable.
When
So-
you reverse, things come from behind you.
Yeah. That's how that works. So she calls me and she's like, can you come over here? And I'm like, oh, where are you? So I run over to this house and like this lady is yelling at my mom and my mom's like frazzled. She's like, I'm sorry. And I could tell my mom's like anxious, doesn't know what to do. So I come running over and like, I don't know how you guys would respond if some lady's like yelling at your mother, but like, you're a little bit like, hey, back the hell off my mom, right? Not Jim. Jim's like, oh my goodness, ma'am, are you okay? Can I make you some sweet tea? Because I'm uncomfortable with all of this. Like, I'm uncomfortable that you're upset right now. I'm uncomfortable that this car's dinged up. I just want to make everybody happy.
But when I tell this story later
Fuck
on the
you,
podcast,
bitch! Yeah. So I punched her in the mouth, man. First thing I did is I right crossed her, put her on the ground.
Punched her right in the asshole.
So yeah, I hate confrontation, and like reading this letter just like I feel really icky if I have to if the waiter at Cracker Barrel was awful and like nothing's coming, nothing's good. It didn't bring us drinks, nothing.
You're still going to get a 20% tip.
I overtipped. I overtipped because I felt bad that I was like kind of passive aggressive at him because I didn't say goodbye. Because like we were packing up and the guy's like, "You have a great time, man," and I'm like, "Thanks," and I didn't say anything else.
You too. Here's another 5.
Fuck. And so yeah, when I was checking out, I was like, I should probably overtip. Like I was kind of rude on the way out.
What percentage did you tip?
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably that guy's biggest percentage tip of the day.
I felt bad. And he was awful, man. Cracker Barrel's gross and terrible. The service was awful. We didn't get drinks. We didn't get any bread. He didn't bring out any condiments. We didn't have forks and knives, man.
Does Cracker Barrel bring out bread?
Jeez.
Yeah, well, they did to the other people, not to us, not our guy. And we didn't have forks and knives. It was terrible. It was.
I feel like they usually have that. I don't know about the bread.
Yeah. Usually, I think they don't make you eat with your hands at Cracker Barrel, but not always.
Well, there's the problem your kid had cutting the steak.
Yeah. You're supposed to put it in your mouth
Use
and
it
just
as
rip it
finger.
apart. I can't even confront like a waiter if I'm upset. Nothing. Like
All right,
do
so
that.
getting to the writer's letter a little bit.
Yeah.
When you were driving, I'm staying with you though, Joe.
Oh, no,
When you're
okay.
driving,
Yeah.
do you ever honk at people?
Only if it's a red light and and it turns green.
You give them the beep?
Yeah, but I'll wait. I'll wait a while. Like, and then I might give them like the
How long is a
courtesy
while?
beep.
How many seconds? About.
All right, ready? Light just turned green. Beep.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I'm giving him like the very slightest courtesy beep.
You're giving them 3 to 5 seconds.
And then if I catch up to him, I'm going to give him the wave of, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you."
Okay, let's say this happens to me not every day, but probably once a week.
Yeah.
I'll be driving along on a road. So there's this road that I drive on. It's called Frank Sinatra Boulevard here in Vegas. And there is an entrance.
It's actually just his body. You
It
just
is.
drive over his body.
It
It's
is.
a very small bridge.
There's an entrance onto the main freeway, onto the I-15
Yeah.
from Sinatra.
Yes.
And Sinatra is a 3-lane road. The far left-hand lane is the entrance lane onto the freeway.
Right.
So that and then it then becomes a 2-lane road after that.
Yeah.
So what will happen to me fairly often is I will be in the middle lane,
Yeah.
not going onto the freeway, but just in that middle lane, and there will be someone in the middle lane who stops
Oh yeah.
and trying to
Yep.
get into the
Yep.
line
Yeah.
to get onto the freeway.
Yep.
Now they have bypassed probably 30 cars
Yeah.
behind them.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. I might be
Nope.
under exaggerating.
Yeah.
30 cars, I would say at least behind them, and they're trying to cut the line to get onto the freeway.
To
And
the
so they are
freeway.
stopped in the middle of that lane.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
then causes me to stop, which then causes people behind me to stop.
Yeah.
Would you honk in that situation?
I
I don't know.
definitely would. I know that exact spot, and
Yeah.
that happens every time you drive on that
I
road.
will.
I don't think I would.
I will sit down on the horn in my vehicle, and I will literally not let it up.
I'll fire a
until
pistol in the
I
air.
am driving past that person. I will sit there with my hand on the horn
Yeah.
and my middle finger in the air.
I keep a paintball gun in my car just for this.
I am not exaggerating in any way. I sit there in this pose.
Yeah.
I'm giving Nick and Jim the
Bird
pose.
is up on one hand, horn is being held down with the other.
And I will sit there until they move.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can't do
And
that.
if somebody lets them into the line, fine. If they pull forward, fine. But I will sit there doing that until they move.
If somebody gets into the wrong thingy and is like, I always assume they accidentally got there. And then I'll be
Sure.
like, well, they're scared too, so I don't want them to like be frightened and I don't
No,
want to
no,
honk
no.
at them.
No.
Yeah.
Because my viewpoint on that is, you accidentally got into the wrong lane, fine. You don't get to make me pay for your mistake.
You're going to just go the wrong way
Just
now.
go.
Yeah.
You can turn around somewhere. It's a
Right.
road.
Yeah.
This road that you're on doesn't lead over a waterfall.
Oh, no, I can't.
Just
do
drive.
That. I can't do that.
You're gonna get to where you're going 5 minutes later because you're gonna go over there. You're gonna turn around. You're gonna come back. It's fine.
Yeah.
But what you're actually bringing up is actually a really interesting psychological phenomenon,
Okay.
which is the
Horniness.
right.
Jacob's absolute horny rage.
Whenever
Road
Jacob hears a car horn, he just-
Autoerotic exfoliation.
Oh, I will tell you something interesting though. I'm not like, as soon as it's over with, I'm not terribly angry, and while it's happening, I'm not like filled with rage or anything.
Okay, you're just, but this is happening.
Yeah,
I'm going to.
like if that person got out of the car and wanted to fight me,
right. It just
I'd be
drive
like,
right past
"What the
them.
fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I don't
Move."
care. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going to signal the you're comfortable with that kind of confrontation.
Yes.
The interesting thing, though, is about part of the whole thing with road rage is the perceived choice or the perceived, like, it's not just that somebody did this, but it's the perception that they were knowledgeable of what they were doing and they did it with the intent to disrupt what I was doing. That's a big part of road rage. So, like, if somebody cuts me off,
they're doing it as an attack.
Exactly.
You personalize it.
Yeah, because that's just a natural instinct. Anything that happens, we internalize automatically as it was done with agency and intent.
Right.
It was done intentionally to me. Right. So the perspective that you take, I think, is like, oh, this is an accident. They probably didn't mean to do that. I think is probably something that kind of gets fostered over time. It's not necessarily natural. I think a lot of people just automatically assume they did this intentionally to piss me off. And then that just kind of creates this sense of rage.
I'm like this with everything. So, like, in the Patreon, I talked about going to Nashville and for my sister's wedding. All the family there, saw all these people.
Spoiler, there was no wedding.
Spoiler, they got left at the altar. It was a big mess. Yeah, patreon.com/therapy.
His sister thinks there was a wedding.
Yeah, that's right. Good point. Yeah. We rehearsed a wedding. That was it was a great rehearsal. Yeah. Hopefully the real one's better than that. Yeah. But no, what's interesting is I got to see all these family members, and there was a family member that I was sitting there and I consciously thought, boy, I really admire this family member because we were having conversations with all these people, doing all these things. It's a big event. There's all these ceremonies, and you're interacting with a lot of people. And this person was able to firmly but politely confront other people and say no to things or ask for things. And I just watched that happen and thought, God, I'm uncomfortable watching you.
Give me an example. Say no to what? What was something they said no to?
An example might be a group of people all asking for something. Like, hey, why don't we let's go do this. Let's go do this. And like 3 or 4 people.
I cannot refuse in the day of my daughter's wedding.
Yeah. And then this person looking at him and going, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to. And like you saying no denies these people the ability to do that, but asserting yourself and saying, no, I'm going to put down a boundary. I'm not comfortable. We won't be doing that.
Your daughter still lives. What you were asking for is not justice.
You're asking for me to kill a man I do not know. So, but I remember thinking like, wow, that's so cool.
Cousin Jeff will not kill a man he doesn't know.
These guys, and I just saw that and just noticed
Aunt Edna was all for going and just murdering a homeless person.
Everybody
Cousin
in my
Jeff
family
refused her. Jim really admired that.
Everybody in my family is better at confrontation than me because I'm thinking, oh, if people asked me, hey, Jim, will you stop what you're doing right now and drive us across town to like the mall to do this thing? Yeah, like I'll just do it. Like, cause I don't want to say no. I don't want to be weird. Like it's just, I can't do that. Like in another, like as you're doing big family events, like everybody's chipping in on different things or you're picking up the bill here and like people owe you money, right? I'll never ask for it. I'll die before I ever go up to them and go, hey, don't forget to Venmo me that. Like, nope, that's just lost money. Like I do not even want to have the conversation. And that's so icky to me. I can't do it. So I'll just know.
You're more Midwest than I am.
Is that a Midwest thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible, man. It's just so itchy. I can't do it. So I relate to the writer. We should probably give some advice, which also I am useless because I still do this.
Okay, so remind me of the writers. Give me bullet points from the letter.
Fear of confrontation. Also, now we should talk also about anxiety because a writer also has intrusive thoughts of vomiting and sometimes feels icky about that. But feels so uncomfortable and talked about like, oh, even being back at places where I once had a confrontation. I once had a confrontation with my landlord. And now even being back in that space where we had that conversation feels weird. Oh, that was another thing that happened. So while I'm at my brother-in-law's house, his neighbor walks over.
He charged Jim rent.
Yeah, he charged me rent. I just paid because I was like, I have been here a while. It's been several hours. So while we're there,
I'm confident
his neighbor, we're all outside, we're waving goodbye to a family member. His neighbor walks over and says, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And my brother-in-law was like, sure. And the neighbor wanted to say, your tree over here is growing a little too much into my direction. I'd like to talk to you about trimming this. And I'd like to walk you over to the side of the house and show you. And I just really admired my brother-in-law because he was like, oh, no, I'm not going to walk with you and look at that. I'm hosting right now, and we can talk another time. And the neighbor was like insistent, like, no, I'd really like to talk to you. I've been meaning to talk to you about this. And my brother-in-law was just like very kind, very polite, but just firm, and was like, I'm sorry, no, I won't be doing that. And I have the trees professionally trimmed. They're entirely on my property side. And so I'm sorry that you disapprove, but I'm not changing it. And just walked away and was happy as a clam after that. I was like, I'm upset
Jim is
just
sweating
repeating
again.
the story.
Yeah, Jim's currently
I
sweating
need
again.
a hanky and a fan.
You're okay. You're all right.
I
You're
feel
all right.
unsafe even repeating it. Like, oh God, your neighbor, he said that to his face. But like afterward, I'm like, God, I wish I could
Jim,
do that. That is
Jim,
so cool.
Jim,
Yeah.
give me your car.
I think you should have it
Give
anyway.
me your
Yeah,
car.
I got it.
Give me your
Bud.
keys.
If you need the Subaru, you just take it, bud. You know, I just whenever you get a chance to bring it back around, I
I'm
just
not.
toss the keys on the
I'm
table.
not.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna pee
I
in the
have an
passenger
Uber
seat
app.
of your car.
And I'm gonna resist the urge to reference that joke because we've been working on that, and I'm getting better.
Are you?
Well, I guess I just commented.
Yeah, you did.
I guess, yeah, referencing that
There
I'm
you
not
go.
going to reference it probably defeats the purpose.
Nope.
How do we help this dude with
Okay, so here's the
like
okay.
dealing with confrontation
So
anxiety?
I actually can kind of relate to this in the sense that I have been working on this.
Yeah, I'm going
Okay.
to put my keys back in my
A
pocket
lot of
since
the-
you
no,
didn't take them.
keep 'em out.
Yeah, I'll just leave them here
Yeah.
in case you need them later.
Okay.
We got to finish
I
the
love
show a little
this.
bit.
This
more.
is great. Can't believe we're 3 years into this. and
Yeah,
I
I
just
just
discovered
didn't know how
this.
weird
Yeah.
it makes me to say no to
Yeah.
things, or I apologize. I'm sorry.
I
No,
can't
so
believe we've ever paid for anything at the bar.
I know we never will again. I'll tell you that.
Thanks for your support. So I'm going to listen very
this
carefully
is-
to your answer because I'm going to apparently need this.
I used to be very much like that,
Okay.
but I recognized it, and I've been working hard on it over the
Mhm.
last several years. And part of it helps being a counselor, being
Yeah.
a substance abuse counselor,
Oh, yeah.
working in a rehab.
You get pushed around a lot.
Yeah, because you kind of just have to say like, no,
yeah, we're not
no.
going to do that.
And the other
Yeah.
thing too that I've gotten really good at is not apologizing for stuff that I'm not sorry
Oh,
for.
You'll just let it be.
Yeah, if they're like, I want to do this, I'm like, I'm sorry, no, we can't.
Right.
No, I'm not sorry.
Right.
No, you
Yeah.
can't do this.
Oh boy.
This is how this is set up. I understand your frustration. We can display empathy.
Yeah,
We can talk about
yeah.
that. We can use all of those skills. I can say, I understand that you'd be frustrated. If I was in your position, I probably would be too. However, this is the reality that we have to deal with right now, and this is
Yeah.
where we're gonna have to go.
Oh boy.
And just be very direct. And I also one of the things too that I have to work on is not trying to lead them on into thinking that there's some other solution.
okay.
Because sometimes that's kind of an easy out. Be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, let me look at it. Let me think about it. Let me get back to you. Where I know, no,
That the
the answer's no.
Yeah.
And why drag this out any longer than it needs to be? The answer is no. Here's the reason why. I'm not sorry for this, but I
Sometimes
empathize with your situation.
in the writer situation, sometimes you just had a confrontation. Like you and your landlord had to
Mhm.
talk and things got a little choppy there for a second. And it couldn't be avoided. It was a tense moment. Or you had conflict with this other person and you didn't start it, but now you're in it. But I think the writer's also saying, boy, that has an echo effect and like afterward. And I really relate, you know. So this episode airs after the religion episode. The religion episode, I ended up cutting it. So I cut 90 minutes out of the 2-hour Patreon.
Wait, you did? Why?
Yes, because I'm uncomfortable with it. Because it didn't end up being conflict, but it wasn't happy, and it was too tense, and I don't like it.
No, we
And
were in a building.
I have been that he's right. I ruminated nonstop all the way to today. When we were at the bar afterward, I told you, God, I wish that we didn't record the next show for 2 weeks so that I just had lots of time to put myself between that moment and this moment because I felt so itchy afterward. I literally have felt, I was thinking about it on the flight there and back. Just like, God, I still feel weird. Like,
So-
I just want to hug you and buy you something because I don't like what happened and I just want you to be my friends again. And I
All right,
feel
tell
like
you
that
what.
was so weird.
All is forgiven if you shave that mustache.
No, I can't do that. It's too beautiful. I can't
So,
rob the
okay,
world
so
of this.
let me. I will practice this.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, I empathize with your situation about the feelings that you have about last week's episode. Thank you. However, we fucking goddamn it.
How dare you try to be serious?
However,
Yes.
we need to have conversations
Yes.
about cutting pieces of our show.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yes.
In fairness,
Yes.
right?
That's true.
Because if I did that and I just cut part of the show out without talking to you,
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't
that
be
probably
great.
wouldn't go over
Okay,
very well.
you're right. We should talk about that.
So-
It hasn't aired yet. As of
Okay.
our
And,
recording.
and we can talk about that, and we'll
Yeah.
obviously talk about that off air. But
yes.
I'm just saying.
See, but now I feel
Here's
weird that we just had a confrontation. God,
Yeah,
this
but
is
this is
shitty.
fine.
No, it's not.
No.
I don't feel happy.
Okay, so here's the advice. Here's the advice.
Yes.
Okay, we got to be able to become comfortable sitting in that feeling. Okay. Yeah, it is. It is.
It's
it is
physical.
uncomfortable.
I feel it in
Yes.
my arms. Ugh.
Yes, and this is where we
Oh.
practice doing some kind of deep breathing exercises and
dojo.
understanding that okay, we're gonna be okay.
I think we'll go with that. So, Ryder, I actually have some real world advice on this. One thing that did help me in the aftermath of a tense conversation, or whenever I have any conversation, because I just realized I hate them all, is I will do self-talk. So once I'm back to myself again, I will talk myself through it, and I'll right-size it the same way that I would confront an anxious thought by saying like, hey, that's not as scary as you think. People aren't mad at you. It's okay. Everybody's still friends, or whatever I need to reassure myself with. I will say that. And that ultimately is CBT techniques that are, you right-sizing and confronting the anxious thoughts that you're having, which is important.
Now, can I ask a question real quick? Clarifying question on this.
Yes.
And maybe we don't know this because part of this makes me feel like I don't quite understand the question because the writer talks about a road rage incident.
Right.
So does that mean that
That was my question. Did they initiate this road rage
Yes,
incident?
because then I think we've got some different advice.
Right.
Yeah, so if it's something that just happened where he was confronted by it.
Were they the victim of a road
Right.
rage incident, or did they initiate it?
Exactly.
Right.
And same thing too, because the next thing is about the issue with the apartments and the renovations and conflict with the neighbor. So like if
This
you
doesn't sound like
are-
a person to me that avoids confrontation.
Exactly. It sounds like it may be something that like maybe you initiate the conflict and then have unresolved feelings after the fact. And I think that's a whole
I
different
should have
thing.
said this.
Yeah, so in that case, I think our advice is going to be changing because then I think maybe what we need to do is we need to look at some de-escalation skills or something that is going to help you in the moment to kind of right-size that problem so that you don't act.
Right.
Like, because that's kind of the big thing, especially like with road rage. So one thing that has helped me, because road rage has always been kind of an issue for me.
It
Okay.
is?
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing that has helped me is cognitive reframing.
Actually, road rage does make sense. You get pissed at people in the store aisle.
Oh, God damn it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You should be able to manage a cart. All right. Like if you're in a grocery store, why in the hell would you park a cart perpendicular? Like you're the only person on Earth. Okay. all
Jacob,
right,
you
anyway.
are Johnny on the spot with those drops.
So,
You're
okay.
just on point today. Good Lord.
Okay. But my point is, okay. So what I used to do
It's like a surgeon.
is if somebody would do something stupid,
Like a sturgeon.
if somebody would do something stupid in traffic, which happens all the time in Vegas.
Yeah.
It does.
We have some of the worst drivers in the world
They're called California.
doing absolutely crazy shit.
What it is, it's a mix of Californians and Midwesterners
Yeah.
trying to come together along with the Vegas locals. It's a bad cocktail.
It is.
Everything is
It is
bad.
very bad. But what I've done is I've cognitively reframed it. So if somebody does something crazy stupid, my immediate reaction is, this could have caused me harm.
Right.
This put me at risk. That son of a bitch, they did this, which could have caused an accident, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Instead, what I do is I reframe it as, I just saved everyone's lives.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
You're acting like an asshole. You're causing crazy shit, but I'm observant. I'm a good driver. You're welcome. And
Okay.
that's how I reframe reframe it.
Oh.
This time next month,
yeah.
we'll focus on Nick's hero complex.
Yeah. We'll
I would much rather have a hero complex. I'm less likely to die from a hero
that's
complex.
probably true.
But
I like
if I
that.
can reframe it to like, you're welcome.
I've done
I
something.
just saved everyone's lives.
Yeah.
I just saved everyone some problems, some headaches. You're
Yeah.
welcome. You're being an asshole, but you're welcome.
Well, and I think I like your model there because I've benefited from reframing the word confrontation. I feel like that's a sliding scale, right? Because there's obviously really bad ones, and then there's like you were chatting with your buddies and you disagreed about politics or something like that, and you weren't on the same side of the issue, and you were a little snappy at each other, and that's about it. But like I can see I reframe that sometimes as what happened here was sort of the vegetables of, like your interactions. Like not everything can be sugary dessert, yucks and fun. Sometimes you're going to have these sobering, more topical or serious, moments in life, whether it's with your landlord or politics or whatever.
I will look for you. I will find you.
Or if somebody like abducts your daughter in Europe and you've got to talk to somebody about it, And you have to be direct. You have to let them know, I disapprove of your behavior. Sometimes that's going to happen, but it's a healthy thing. Much like the vegetables, they might be bitter, and you're allowed to say afterward, like, boy, that was unpleasant. That's something I'll do sometimes. Is it in a weird, like those moments I'll say to myself, Jim, that was unpleasant, and you're allowed to be uncomfortable with it. That doesn't mean that it was unhealthy, though. Like, it could have been healthy, even for the relationships long term. Hard conversations or hard moments are actually a good thing.
Yeah, that's how you grow.
That is how you grow.
Also, the way you grow as a society is like you keep each other in check.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah, we've got to have some kind of like push.
And so if you stop in the middle of the road because you're trying to cut in line somewhere else, I'm going to honk at you
We really ended
for
up
the
pivoting.
good of society.
We really focused on road rage out of this letter. There was a lot of things. We picked one.
Yeah, you kind of triggered us on
I
this
guess
one.
I did. I mean, I just read the letter. Whatever. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how to match with a therapist at first sight. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
This week's Theraproducer sponsors are Judy Schneider, Mason Miller, Leon Kasab, Newstick, Dirty B, Sarah Smith, BP, Kodiak, and Samantha Cohn. We don't have a trivia this week because we have a scooperty that was sent to us.
Oh,
But
shit.
we're gonna save that.
We'll
we're
do
gonna
it
do
at
that
the
at the
end.
end of the show.
Yeah. That'd be, because it
we'll
all
do
has
it
to
at
be done
the
at
end.
once, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do that at the end, assuming Jacob can find. He's given me some weird looks.
I didn't bring a computer to play the Scooperty on.
All right.
You know what?
Trivia.
We might be able to play it on the iPad. though.
We'll figure something out. But,
Yeah.
thank you. And if you want to sponsor the show and hear your name, go to patreon.com/therapy and sign up to become a Theraproducer.
Cool. All right.
We definitely won't be able to put it on the screen, but we might be able to play it, and just you guys will just have to remember the categories like the
Yeah.
audience does.
Yeah, that's fair. How to match with a therapist at first sight. Hey guys, just found your podcast and love it. I'm still trying to catch up on episodes, so I apologize if this question is similar to one you've already addressed. Finding a therapist that matches well with me feels very daunting, and I typically give up after a few attempts until I get the motivation to try again sometime down the road. The time and cost of having to go through a bunch of first appointments where I'm not getting any real help to find out if we align is a lot. I hear you guys talk, and I'm constantly like, why can't I find someone like them? Maybe my expectations are wrong. Maybe I'm not giving them enough time. I usually try 1 to 3 appointments. Wouldn't that be enough? Some things I've found consistent are most just give me a bunch of random reading that is good, but not pertinent to what I'm going through or stuff I already know, but they never cared to find out. None seem to have looked at the notes at all from our last meeting. None have any sort of plan or guidance for how our session will go or how we will approach what is going on. Most give me advice that I obviously already know and do, or that doesn't appear to actually help, and they don't elaborate on it. Most don't seem to be really listening. Most don't ask any questions, and because they never set up any expectations of how this process will go, I rarely feel that it is a safe place to talk or that I will make any progress. I want to therapy, but it just seems too hard. For example, my last therapist, before our first meeting, she sent me a lot of articles to read. without knowing anything about why I was seeing her. She kept doing this between each session. She said nothing in our first session. She just let me talk at random. She didn't try to hone in on anything, get to the root of anything, or ask any questions. This was our first session, so that's fine, but she didn't do any of this in our 2 subsequent sessions. Our second session, she canceled 1 minute beforehand. Our second session reschedule, I started with, I know I need to take time for myself, but I've been struggling because I'm very overwhelmed. She ended the session 15 minutes early with telling me to take some time for myself. Oh, shit, that's a sick burn.
Gotcha.
That's solid. Yeah, you walked into that one, buddy. I want to feel dumber than my therapist. I want to feel like they can help. Any suggestions on how to match well with a therapist and how to adjust my own expectations and approach would be very appreciated. Thanks so much, Anonymous. Whew, that's a good one. Man, what a good letter. I'm going to save this and give it to interns because I think it's really instructive. I like this letter as advice for studying therapists, new therapists, students. That kind of letter needs to be read by all of them so they can understand why you need to do a lot of things right to make people have success.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm hearing that.
Well, I mean, a therapist is so personal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
it is so personal. And I would bet, and tell me what you think about this, because I would bet that from the therapist's point of view, it is so much less personal than it is from the person going to therapy.
Mm,
You know, it's personal on your end in kind of a more of a big picture.
sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're not going to feel this intense personal connection with every single patient. I would assume. Is that fair?
I would agree, and I think there's a connection, but it's different. It's
Okay.
not.
We're not as
but
vulnerable.
yeah, it's not
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
there
You're
we go.
certainly
We're
not as vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're putting into it is not the same as what they're putting into it, and I think, for that reason, it does kind of give a different dynamic. Like when we had Lori Gottlieb on the show,
Yeah.
and she was talking about her book, and in her book, she's meeting with her therapist, and then like having that thought of like, oh, he's got other patients.
Right.
Does he
Yeah.
like them better than
Does
me?
he like them?
You know, it's almost kind of this relationship thing where you're kind of starting to compare, you know? So yeah, I would agree with that. And I think there's a lot of things here too that, here's the other thing that I think is important to remember that sometimes we kind of forget when we talk about therapy is it's more of an art than it is a science.
Right.
As much as we try to obviously apply evidence-based practices, or well, I don't want to go down that road
Boy,
again.
be careful.
But as much as we try to apply as much research as we can, and to really look at, you know, the science behind this,
right.
there is a huge artistic component behind it,
Yeah.
and we each have different models and kind of theories that we're going to operate from. If you have an individual session with me, it's going to look different than you having an individual session with Jim.
And very different than an individual session with Jacob.
I mean,
For
one word
starters,
is
I
worse.
will wear pants.
Yeah.
I want you to be comfortable with me. I don't want you to have to picture me in my underwear to feel comfortable. I'll just be in my underwear.
He's going to do this for you.
Yeah.
All cards on the table.
Sir, can you please put on a shirt?
Yeah.
I won't, but that's a gift. I want you to feel like it's okay to be here.
But I will compromise with you. I will stop masturbating when I'm done.
I think that we just end the show on that. I think we're done. I think all the show. I mean, we're done with pod therapy right there.
Yeah.
This is a great one. And like coming back to what you just said, Nick, the art and the science. I've said this before, and you know, I don't think I've ever done a good job explaining myself, but I
Agreed.
As in most things. I really, and I think it's just because we became friends with Jacob and ICS, and they're friends with Penn and Piff and Brian. So accidentally, I've gotten to encounter all these magicians and appreciate what they do and listen to their podcasts and listen to the work that they do. And man, do I find a lot of analogy to our work. When a great magician is doing their job, like when I went and saw Piff's show, Piff is very approachable. He's friendly. He's this guy in a dragon costume. He's doing everything he can to distract you from the fact that he's an engineering genius. Like, we went to a bar and Jacob explained one of the tricks in Piff's show. And by the time he was halfway through it, I thought, dude, this could be an MIT dissertation project. How much work went in to making a thing go away and reappear? And like, if you really
Why
just
are you not
appreciate-
colonizing Mars?
Right. Yeah, this is what we're doing. You guys are getting hired by Vegas Dragons. But like, I'm just sitting there listening to this team approach of how they did this, and I'm thinking to myself, I really just appreciate this. These magicians are really engineering marvels. They are geniuses, and they have teams of geniuses. But they conceal all of that with your permission, because you will benefit from what they're going to do. They're going to give you a sense of wonder and awe, and that's what you've paid for today. That's what you want
Is
to
this just a
experience.
really long way for you to call yourself a genius?
I don't want to go there, but I will call myself a magician. But I really like...
I'm going to hint at it.
Yeah, I just want to strongly imply that we're geniuses. But no, like, I like that. And they make themselves approachable and funny, and they get you out of your head, and they don't want you trying to figure out how the trick is done for your own benefit, because you need to enjoy this. You came here to enjoy this. And so, like, I appreciate, though, how much work you'll listen to these magicians and show people talk about every detail that they do in the show. And like, Jacob will talk about going to see his friends perform and then giving them notes afterward. Hey, I think you should command the audience here and get this to happen because it's going to circle back over here. And here's where you can trust the audience with their reaction. And here's where you need to direct them. And there's just so much of that give and take. It's very organic. That reminds me of therapy, that same concept. And here in this letter, I see so much evidence of little things. Like, my answer to this question is not going to be so much helpful to the writer, because finding a therapist is a hard one. No, I want to rant to the industry. That's my angle. I'm going to take a rant at the industry. If you're a student or an intern or a
Spoiler,
professional...
I also won't give helpful advice.
Yeah. I'm just going to get those out of the way. But no, the angle I want to take on this, when the writer says, okay, they give me a bunch of reading. Therapists and students and interns, don't do that, okay? Just smashing the send button, A, without even explaining what the hell you're sending, and B, just sending copious amounts of homework and books. Then what the fuck are you for?
Yeah, if I have a client that says, hey, this is how I learn.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested and I do a lot of
Please
reading.
send it to me.
Then like, okay, then I will do
Right.
that because it's kind of what they're asking for. But
Yes.
otherwise, I never send
Well, even
people stuff
therapists
to
who
read.
constantly recommend books, I always tell people, like, hey, chill that out. And I'm like, no, there's like 10 really good books on this that I had to read my master's program.
sure
I'm like,
are.
yeah, you went and got a master's program in it. That was your job. Now you need to be so good at this information and know it so well that you can, like a magician, bring it into the show here and get them what they need without... Wait, what did he say?
Magician.
Yeah, you got to magish that shit. You got to get it in there without them having to go get a freaking MIT degree and learn how pistons work. You know, like, that's not for them to figure out. Like, you should be able to do this.
Pistons work.
So that bothers me. Pistons are like witchcraft, man. Who knows how that shit works?
I've learned how pistons work. Also, my road rage is cured.
These are all interconnected. So therapists don't do that. Like, just inundating and flooding people with content is always a bad thing to do. And also, where the writer said that stuff's not pertinent, and not taking command of the session. When I take over sessions, when I start with somebody, the first thing I do is put them at ease by, like, speaking for a while. And we've talked about this on the show, how I almost have like a canned intro. Fine, I'll take it. That's fair. He did it to you. I deserve it too. That's fair. So I always come in.
I am a therapist.
I always come in first by saying, all right, look, welcome, and I orient them. I tell them about when we're going to talk about legal stuff at the end. I go over a few, like, nuances of Zoom just to make sure they know the procedure and put them at ease. And then I ask them some orienting questions. How did you find me? You referred by this person. Okay, great. Dr.
Do Texas
so-and-so.
and Oklahoma share a border?
Yeah, I quiz them on geography. And then I'll ask, so what brings us here today? And that inaugurates that it's their turn, but I've been speaking for a few minutes. I've given them a sense of who I am. I'm interacting with them, putting them at ease. All of that is the first session, and then asking what brings us here today. The entire intake session for me is asking questions.
Do you ever ask them what their perception is of therapy, or what they like. How do you picture this going?
Yes.
To try to get a sense from them, like, because there's people who like, well, I've seen movies about therapy and this is how it's done.
Sometimes, yeah.
Or
yeah.
or
how do you imagine this
like,
goes?
Yeah, so
I don't
kinda
like
get
to
an
put pressure
idea
on them because
of
then I
how
feel
that
like
works.
they're already nervous.
Yeah.
So I'll ask that in a roundabout way. So I'll ask, have you ever done therapy before? Which is
Right.
part of my intake, list of questions that I'm going to ask. Which, by the way, I do on purpose. A lot of therapists send you an intake packet prior to the first session, and it might be 10 pages long. And it will ask everything. How much do you drink? Do you use drugs recreationally? Have you ever seen a therapist before? Who were they? What's your medical
like a
history?
biopsychosocial assessment that
They make
fill
you
out
do
themselves.
it,
Yeah.
and that bothers me. And I remember every intern I've had, they've said, "Oh, why is your intake packet like what's your name and what's your address? Like where's all the rest of it?" And I'm like, they don't need that. That's our job. Why would we waste this and make this person fill out 10 pages of paperwork and submit it? What is this? I need to interact with you. I would like to ask all of these questions to you because that's a great way for us to warm up, and it will give me all sorts of interesting things to discover about you and then ask follow-up questions. Have you ever seen a therapist before? Oh yeah, I did couples therapy about 5 years ago. We only did about 3 sessions. Oh, okay. What were you guys focusing on? Oh, this and that. Okay, how was that experience? It wasn't very good. Oh, what wasn't good about it? What didn't you like about that therapist? Well, Jim, and here's this letter. They just
Right.
gave me
Yeah,
a bunch
yeah,
of
yeah.
articles to read. And then I'm mentally, and I not just mentally, it's one of the things I love about Zoom is I can be taking notes while I'm listening much better than I can with a pen and paper. Like, I can get tons of data down by typing. And so I'll write things down on my paper like, okay, for this person, don't use this approach, use this approach. They don't like lots of, and I'm writing all of that. And like that's another thing that the writer says in the letter is like he doesn't think his therapist ever read their last session's notes. Dude, before every session, I go over the last 2 weeks of notes with that patient. And I usually will go back, if I don't memorize it, which most of the time I have it all memorized, but like I'll go back to the intake session and I'll read all the extra notes I gave to myself. Nick doesn't like this kind of therapy. I'll ask their patients, like, have you ever done therapy before? Yes or no? What? And if they say no, I'll say, teach me how to be a good therapist to you. This is one of the last questions I'll ask. Teach me how to be your therapist. What helps you? Have you ever had coaches in life, friends, mentors, teachers? What's good for you and what's not? Do you like hands-on stuff? Does that annoy you? Does it bog you down? Does it make you feel stressed out? Do you like to read things or not really? Do you like exercises and activities, or do you prefer to talk it out? And like I try to give them lots of different possible ways to do therapy so they can kind of try on hats and go, I think this is more my style. Great. How do you do with feedback? Some people say they want feedback, but then it isn't a good fit for them and it makes them feel like a little nervous. How do you prefer? Well, no, I don't like feedback, Jim. I just want to talk it out. Okay, great. You know what, Jim? I really like feedback. I'm here for that. In fact, I didn't like my last therapist because they never gave me any advice. And I want your advice. That's why I picked you. And I'll write that down because in the future, I'll have a thought and I'll go, wait, go back and find out if that's the kind of thing this person likes. And then I'll know I have permission.
Well, I mean, the way I've always done my counseling work, I mean, I'm a drug and alcohol counselor, so that
And
field,
a professional male model. Don't leave that
also,
out.
yes, which doesn't come up in therapy that often.
Not as often.
Gotta
as I'd
pay
like.
them bills.
but not,
Comes up in Jacob's work.
but not
He's
zero.
not wearing those pants.
But
If you think I look good with no
The,
pants, you should see Nick Tangeman.
Here's a photo. Oh my God.
the industry that I
Looks like it's
work
through
in,
his window.
the industry that I work in is very much driven by the treatment plan.
Right. You're going to review it.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm always reviewing the treatment plan and the last notes, and usually the last couple notes, like Jim. But also the other thing that I always like to do is, I always make, because my philosophy is that the real work happens not in the session, but between sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And we use the session then to review everything you did between sessions. So like when my clients would leave, they would leave with a behavioral task,
And
something
to be
that you're
clear,
going to practice.
addiction treatment is very hands-on.
Yes.
People
it is,
need things to do because they
Yeah.
are trying to not do other things.
right.
they
and
need
it's,
tasks.
a lot of it is CBT based.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be things that we're going to practice and implement, and then we're going to come back and review those things. So it's very regimented
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah.
But mental health therapy is not necessarily like that. There's
Well,
a lot of different.
But you're absolutely right. In
perspectives.
addictions work, I do the same thing. Every session that I do with addictions outpatient you are finishing the session with an exercise that I want you to do for me. Part of that's to figure out what your buy-in level is and whether you're really going to stay active. And another part of it's because they need that. Like but I agree with you. But sometimes, like in addictions treatment, it's necessary. But generally, I think you should adapt your treatment plan. Well, always you adapt your treatment plan. But that's the problem with what this writer's telling us about. Like people that aren't even reading the notes, like they don't even know the person. And they're just kind of like passively getting there. Another thing the writer talks about, again, I'm directing my comments mostly to students, interns, and colleagues, where the writer says, and I love how the writer said this, that it wasn't set up. Like they didn't tell them what to expect. And because they never set it up any expectation of how this process will go, I rarely feel like it's a safe place to talk or I'll make any progress. That is so important in the first session. And I've rehearsed a lot of ways that I like to use to language to people what therapy can be. I start to teach them when I ask them what's a good therapist for them, because I don't just ask that question. I throw out 5 different types of examples to start putting out there, planting seeds. Here's what you might expect in our interactions. Here's all different ways that we might do it. But then I also tell them my style, and I'll tell them there are times that I'm going to take the driver's seat in our work together because I really have a direction I want to take us or I have certain things I want us to do. But my style is usually going to be an interview style. When we sit down, I want to find out what's going on. I want to read the headlines of your personal newspaper and find out what's happening in your life. And we're going to use that to study the things that brought you here, because those are obviously front and center issues in your life. And we're going to start to take those and start talking deeper about that. I'm going to ask you more questions about that. So it's an interview style, but I also tell them sometimes therapy is the emotional yoga of you being here, languaging your truth, encountering your emotions in ways that you can't just do by yourself. And sort of I'm that yoga trainer that's coming next to you and helping you just get that extra 2 inches of stretch. You're going to feel the pinch. That means you're doing it right. And then if you allow yourself to sit with it for a second and afterward, you're going to realize you did something good for yourself, something you couldn't have done by yourself. That's why we're here. It's therapy. And like I language it in lots of different ways. That's only one of the ways I'll say it. But it goes to the writer's question. How do we set expectations so that the patient walks out of there and goes, okay, I was in the right place, that I know where we're going with this. I have an idea of what we're working on. Like even establishing goals. I don't think the writer had that happen once in an intake session.
So, and that's, I think the thing that's kind of frustrating with where do we go with this letter, because it seems like a lot of the ways to address this is not something the writer needs to do different. It's what the industry itself needs to be doing.
1 minute before it started. Oh my god.
I mean, so to the writer, like,
I mean, if that's accurate, it was just out of the blue. Like that's horrible.
And then you lose 15 minutes early the next one so you can take time for yourself.
What? That's bullshit.
That's a fucking jujitsu.
Dude, that's such a
that is some bullshit. So I mean, here's the thing:
is it possible that his therapist hates him?
Yeah. You know what? I'm not ruling it out.
I think here's a thought that I have, and I'm not even convinced that this is even a good idea. But the only thing that I can really think of here is, as you approach new therapists, to have an idea of what does an ideal therapist look like for you, and to share that with the next person, with the next therapist, and just be kind of honest and just say, you know, is this kind of your style? Or if not, do you know somebody that kind of fits with this that you could refer me to?
Right.
I mean, and even then, like this isn't an ideal world where you just have a plethora of therapists to choose from and you have no obstacles like insurance or anything like that to access any of this care.
Right.
That's kind of the ideal situation, but
yeah, and
that's
again,
the best I can come up with.
I guess I want to speak so much more to this letter and give professional advice to colleagues, because even like the delicate art of managing exercises and tasks with hearing, because some patients are trying to get out of the work of emotional labor that should be happening in therapy by just coming in and asking questions and getting advice from you. And too many therapists I know just become just this expert. They just sit in the chair and they say, go ahead. And then you ask them questions like, what should I do about this? What should I do about that? And then you're just sitting there like pontificating or diagnosing or recommending books and stuff.
Yeah,
and
you're like a real life in-person Dear Abby.
Yeah. You're not just
basically.
Google, like just sitting here like some search director giving them information. That's not therapy. therapy is supposed to be this emotional labor and insight-driven thing. Go back and study your Carl Rogers, who said, stop sitting around giving people data. We're not supposed to be these know-it-alls. We're supposed to be this one safe person that can take you to these vulnerable existential encounters with yourself and your reality. That is a very hard thing to do. It is an art. And what really makes me mad, and this is going to be the first and last time I say it, because this kind of breaks the fourth wall of pod therapy, and I've been, for years, I'm reluctant to say this. Because this show, thank you, Jacob. This show is about kind of like introducing people to therapy as an idea that they should try.
I am good at my job.
You are wonderful. And we encourage people to give this a try, but the dark, horrible secret is how shitty so many professionals are.
Yeah.
We don't have enough of them. That's problem A. And problem B, the professionals that we have, despite so much training, way more training than I think a lot of other disciplines even have, they are not good at their job. There is bad mentorship. There is bad training. There is bad role modeling. And it stuns me how bad other professionals are. I try not to believe it or look at it because it's so discouraging. And then I hear letters like this, and I want to give them a bright side and be like, no, you know what, you just tried and you find the right one. But the writer's like, look, dude, this is expensive. I'm trying it three times with each person. That's going to be hundreds of dollars per person that you've tried.
Yeah.
You know, or you're reapproving for insurance and hunting down another person and getting on waiting lists. It's so discouraging how bad people are at their jobs, or they're phoning it in. And I just look around and go, why did you guys study all these years to do this, to be shitty at it? Like, you're not even making a difference, but people are so desperate for anybody to sit in that chair and try to do the job that they're willing to settle for horrible clinicians because that's the only option. They take the most tolerable. Anyway, I'm just furious about it, and I don't want to discourage people from getting therapy. It's why I don't talk about it very often, but fuck, it's so bad, man. Like, anyway. I don't know where this person lives, but could be anywhere. You know, it's bad everywhere. I talk to people in other countries. I have people that literally call from other countries now because they're like, everything's bad here too. And I'm like, dude, what is the deal? Like, it's just garbage. It's just so frustrating. And I don't understand like how to fix that. Like, I really don't. I'm surprised at how many people I've discovered listen to our show who are students or interns or colleagues. I never thought that would happen. I thought our main target audience, which is people that kind of enjoyed self-improvement and would tolerate this because it's funny enough to listen to. I have been stunned.
I always kind of pictured our target audience as just being friends and family.
Yeah. We'd be lucky.
That,
yeah, exactly. I am stunned by how many times it's colleagues.
Yeah.
And like, I'll be like, why are you listening to this? And be like, well, you guys have actually really influenced how I want to do therapy. And like, you've kind of become my trainers. And it's like, what? What?
You're welcome.
This is your gold standard? Like, why are people not helping you? Like, it's just,
I feel good about that.
Yeah.
This is the right place.
I actually
to get
feel really good about that.
Anyway, writer, I guess I agree with Nick. I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to empathize with you. The fact that you've had bad experiences.
Don't give up.
We don't want you to give up. That is really important. Honestly, Nick, I feel sometimes I sit around and daydream and I think we should create like a group of humans. I don't care that they're not real clinicians. We could train up lay counselors that would honestly be better than a lot of the clinicians I've met. I believe that. If they were sincere and they were teachable and they showed up and said, hey, we like this model of people that are like using good humor and good faith efforts and really care, dude, we could train an entire group of people that would honestly be more effective than clinicians like that we're reading about in this letter. Like, this is a joke. Like, what good is all... Anyway, I'm getting angry. I told you guys, I'm bitchy, sassy Jim about other colleagues. I'm really a nice guy about a lot of things, but not this shit. Like, this bothers me. I hate bad clinicians.
Are you feeling the need to have a confrontation?
No. Well, yes, actually, it's funny because this is where I would. Yeah, God help me if I talk religion with my buddies and feel icky about it. But if I talk to another clinician that's bad at their job, I'm like, you should quit. You should quit and not do this anymore. You're bad. You're really bad at this. All right, anyway. We're going to take a quick... I didn't help you at all, writer. I'm sorry. I hope Nick did.
I tried.
I think our message is hang in there.
Keep hunting.
Wait until we fix the profession. I think we're working on it. I don't know. It's
Oh
not
no,
gonna
don't
get
wait.
better.
But keep hunting and try something Jim did say that was not helpful to you, but it reminded me of something that might be helpful for you. Is don't be afraid to check out telehealth stuff. Don't be afraid to
spread it out.
to search out therapists in areas that aren't necessarily geographically close to you.
Yeah.
And widen your search a little bit.
You know what also would help? Here's some real world advice. In your next session with your next counselor, you give it a try. Sit them down and tell them, so I've tried several therapists before.
Oh, yeah, be open about this shit.
And it hasn't worked, and
Here's
tell
why.
them why. That really helps because, believe it or not, now the experience you had makes it sound like they're bad people. The people you worked with, I think, are not good at their job. I think they lack the skill. Which, then you realize the difference between like Piff the Magic Dragon, who's like really, really good at concealing how good he is at this, so you can experience the thing you came to experience. Like,
he's not a great
that's
therapist.
the artistry. Not a great therapist, but a genius engineer who conceals his amazing abilities so you can experience what you came to experience. And like, that's what I relate to on that, is like, you work hard and then conceal how much you can do so you can help this person experience what they need to experience. The therapists you have, I think, are not good at that. But if you tell a human what you're looking for, I think they do have a predisposition of wanting to please you. That is typical. They like people, they're empathetic. And so if you sit down with your next therapist and tell them, here's what hasn't worked for me in the past. I'm really looking for somebody who can do X, Y, and Z. Do you think you're a good fit for me?
And be specific about it. Say, like, my old therapist assigned me a lot of reading, and I felt as though they were, instead of going through this stuff and doing the work with me, I felt as though they were trying to push me to do this work on my own, and that's not what I'm here for.
Right.
I'm here to do this work with someone else, with you, with a professional.
Here's what I'm hoping for.
And so I don't, if you have something every so often that you think, hey, this would be a really nice companion piece
Right.
to something that we've been working on, then perhaps I'd be open to that.
Yeah.
But if the bulk of the work is going to be me going and reading on my own and then trying to figure this shit out on my own, that's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Man, do I hate
That's
that.
not how I'm going to learn this stuff.
I always feel I stopped giving straight up reading assignments years ago because I dislike how it feels like I've just delegated my work to you because I can't be bothered. Like, I will not do that.
That has always been my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
When I'm reviewing substance abuse treatment plans,
Okay.
and the goals and objectives are to go to NA meetings and find a sponsor.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, great. Then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. What are you here
Why
for?
do they need you?
Yeah. When are you going to do
Exactly.
therapy, you idiot? Yeah. The goals
What the-
cannot be external. Like,
Yeah.
the goals,
Wait,
read the
you're
AA
just
big
gonna-
book.
You're just going to send this guy to a church basement?
Yeah. Great
Like,
job.
Oh shit! You should talk to somebody about that.
Yeah, go talk to somebody else.
Why I'm here?
Why am I here? Yes. Or like your therapist sits you down and goes, "Oh, this book was really great. You should go read it." Like that, it bothers me because I think we can be better than that. Handing somebody the manual of how I did a magic trick is not doing the magic trick. I need to perform it for you to give you the experience you're here for. That's why I'm supposed to be able to do it.
I don't think any of us are saying that, saying, hey, maybe check this book out. Maybe give this a read.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a
do it.
bad thing.
Right.
In a supplemental way, if
Yes.
somebody asks me for book recommendations, like if they say intrusive thoughts,
Yeah.
like the first writer who had intrusive thoughts about puking, I would encourage them to read Overcoming Unwanted and Intrusive Thoughts. That's a great book. And so I'll link that. I'll give people resources. I do that all the time. I'm happy to do that. But I never, as part of my therapy work, tell them, I want you to download this book and read that book. That is such an ask. And now it puts a wedge between us because apparently my work can't continue until you do a book
Yeah,
report.
don't come back until you've got
It
this
bothers
done.
me.
And the
I
really
give
bad
people
thing that
small
Jim does,
exercises.
Jim assigns a book to them and then bills them for the hours that they
They're
are
gonna
reading
read
the book.
which is probably, you know what's interesting though? The reason that my homework model that I tend to do is very influenced by my work in addictions. Because when people are in early recovery, you have to give them micro things.
Yeah.
That mostly bring them back to discuss what's going on. It's there to elicit. It should be like 10% bait, 90% contribution from them. And that's an addictions model. I bring that into mental health work. That is my number one way to do it.
Yep.
Because you get the best like rapport building with your patient. Anyway. So don't be discouraged, man, but come in and ask tell them what you're looking for. Ask if they feel like they can align with that. That's your best bet. But at the end of the day, it's still meaningful work if you're just sitting down and talking about your truth. If you're looking for the therapist to be like an expert pilot in your life and take control and drive you places, I've told patients before, like, look, they've told me, like, so what do you think I should do, Jim? You want to take a CBT approach? Or how do you want to do this? What are the 5 exercises we're going to do? And I'll tell them, hey, thank you for asking. I do have a lot of resources, and I'll bring those through when I think it will take us to the next level or it opens a door for you. But I want you to know it's entirely appropriate to meet with me and do the emotional yoga of going through your life. And I'm going to ask, I'm going to prompt you, I'm going to take you there. But I want you to know that's very productive and that's part of therapy. And I want you to trust my work, that that's part of where we're going. And sometimes they'll go, okay, I kind of thought you'd, be like a lawyer and like give me 10 things. No, I'll do it when it comes up. But Ryder, it's okay to be present in the session and just talking. That is a meaningful thing to do. Great question, Ryder. We are going to take a break and then announce our new TheraPals and TheraProducers. But first, we got to give the shout out to the folks that fund the show.
Today's episode
Great
is
talk,
brought to you
Jim.
by Judy Schneider, Mason Miller, Leon Kasab, Newstick, Dirty B, Sarah Smith, BP, and Samantha Cohn. And if you would like to become a sponsor of the show, go to patreon.com/therapy and sign up as a TheraProducer. And we're back.
We're back. And we're done. Did you want to try to do the
Yeah, let's do our let's do our announcements, and then we'll do our
okay, cool.
Our scooperty bit.
So we've got some new folks supporting the show. Want to thank all of you. Go down to patreon.com/therapy and throw a buck in the hat or more to finance this work so that we can keep doing it for the world. And we want to welcome new TheraProducer Samantha Cohn.
Yeah, welcome.
Hey.
Hey-o.
And we got a new therapod, Anna. Welcome to the show.
Yes, always glad to have new people. And of course, do you want me to thank all the bosses?
Now let's do our thing.
All right, let's do our
go
scooperty thing.
So
let's do things.
So to the two of you that are not also listeners of Ice Cream Social.
Oh, yeah. Mom. Yeah, explain it to my mom. Yeah.
Hey, Jim's mom.
Yeah.
There's this thing on this other show.
Explain
called
it in bat.
Excuse me, sir. Use better language.
Stewardess, it's okay. I speak bat.
It's Jeopardy.
It's Jeopardy.
It's just Jeopardy.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah.
give it a shot.
All right, so the categories are.
Who sent this in?
Oh, this is from Dungeon Scoop and Dragon Scoop.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you.
The categories are, and I'm doing this on an iPad for the first time ever, so we'll see how this works. The categories are geography, pumping iron, have a drink, and potpourri.
Okay. Oh, good. There's not that many.
I'm going first. I'll see if I can steal one from Nick. I'll go pumping
Okay.
iron for 200. I feel like that's a Nick question.
Geography, pumping iron. What were the last two categories?
Drinking or something about alcohol and potpourri.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so just one for each of us.
This is the weight of a standard 7-foot-long barbell.
Okay.
Oh. Who has to answer this?
Well,
Jacob's.
I picked it,
Okay.
and then if I pass it, we'll go to Jim.
Okay.
And then if Jim passes it, it'll go to Nick.
Got it.
So that's going to be the order of how things go. So after this question, it's going to be Jim's turn, then Nick's turn, etc.
Got it.
I know about what it is. I think it's. I'll guess this is a cheap one. I think it's 25 pounds. Is
Okay.
that, Nick's already
Don't
shaking
give
his
him
head.
any hints.
Well, no, I've already answered.
He's
All right,
locked
yeah.
it
Oh,
in.
it's 45 pounds.
It's 45 pounds.
I knew it was.
Wow.
I knew it was something
I didn't know that.
in that neighborhood. All right, Jim, you're up
I'm going to take geography for the lowest number.
for 200.
All
It's
right.
2, 4, 6, and 8.
Copy.
So geography for 200. These are the 7 continents on the Earth. I thought for sure he was about to say France.
I'm going to use my fingers and toes as I count.
Okay.
Also, I'm missing a lot of fingers.
Side note.
Side note. I suffered a terrible accident.
His parents made him work the deli slicer.
That's
when he was a kid.
right. North America,
Okay,
South America.
good. I was going to laugh at you
Got
live
the
if you
easy
missed that
ones.
one.
Got the easy ones. Europe,
Okay. Already surprised.
Africa.
Okay.
How many I have? 4. Asia. 2 more.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Australia.
Okay. It's another very big landmass. It's the size of a continent.
Did I already say Africa?
Yep.
Yes.
Does the garbage pile in the Pacific Ocean count, do you think?
Not yet.
Not yet. It will.
The penguins, Antarctica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia.
Hi-oh, got my
There you
200
go.
points.
Well done, Jim.
Yes.
Nick, you're up.
Well, I'm going to steal one from Jim. I'm going to go with the... No, I'm not. No, he's not going to get
I was
geography.
going to say.
That's the only one.
I'd be happy
That's
about
the
you
only
doing
one
that,
he's got.
actually.
I'll do the pumping iron for 400.
All right. Doing bicep curls in a palms-up fashion might help you carry the weight of your sins and are commonly referred to as these.
Oh, preacher curls.
There you go.
Wow. That was a good pun.
I was hoping you were going to
There
miss
you go.
that one.
Ah.
That comes back to me. I'll try have a drink for 200.
Oh, yeah.
A quote-unquote classic cocktail made of bourbon or rye with sugar, bitters, and water, and often garnished with an orange.
Ooh.
And oftentimes a black cherry. That is an old-fashioned.
Ooh. And
Yeah.
nobody makes a better one than Jacob.
I'd
what-
argue
ruined
if I could.
old-fashions.
I'd argue if I could.
You
Jim, you're
should.
up.
I'm going to try this potpourri thing.
Okay, for 200. The DSM was first published in this decade.
Yes.
You got a whole decade to work with, Jim.
No, that's still not going to help me. So 5, 4, 3 was in the 80s, I think. So
Okay.
I'm going to go, oh God.
So that's a few decades that are out already.
I mean, usually 10 years. Let's say 1950s. Let's go with 50s.
Okay, 1950s is correct.
Yes!
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at this guy!
1952.
Hell yeah!
To be exact.
Hell yeah!
Okay.
Nick, you're up.
Let's...
By the way, score check. Jim and Nick are both tied at 400 points, and I have 0 points.
Ooh.
let's do...
You
let's
got the
continue with
old-fashioned
the...
one. How do you get
Yeah, but
zero?
that just got my points back from
You
losing.
lose points if you get them wrong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
shit.
like Jeopardy.
Oh, this is way different now. I didn't need to know that. Now I'm walking without a net.
That changes the strategy.
Well, she's
Jeez.
always hated you
I
anyway.
didn't know that was a
No.
thing.
But I'll go with keep it going with pumping iron.
Pumping iron for 600. If you're looking to crush a watermelon between your thighs, you should focus on this major muscle group in the legs.
I like this question.
What a ridiculous question. Everyone knows the answer is the leg muscles.
That's right, you idiots. Your ankle
So this is going to be
bones.
the adductors.
okay. It is the adductor muscles.
Wow. Dang, man.
I would not have gotten that one.
No,
I'm sticking with have a drink for 400.
Yeah.
This whiskey-themed martini drink is rye, sweet vermouth, bitters, and garnished with a cherry. One could make the argument that it's technically an island drink.
Oh. Huh. Rye, vermouth.
Sweet vermouth, bitters, and a cherry.
Hmm.
Is that a... it's a Manhattan.
Oh.
The big Manhattan Island.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, Manhattan.
Man, we're crushing it.
Jeez. All right.
Jim, you're up
Let's do geography again.
for 400.
Throw it out there.
With the addition of the new Southern Ocean,
Huh?
Earth now has 5 oceans.
What the shit?
These are the rest.
We got another ocean? Wait, I got to name the other ones?
Name the other oceans.
There's 5?
Well, there's 4 left that you have to name.
Pacific,
That's 1.
Atlantic.
That's 2.
Fuck. Indian?
Think of that's 3. Think of bodies of water that have ocean after a name.
Arctic? Ocean?
I think so.
Let's see.
Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Arctic, and yeah, that's it.
Yes! Where's the
Wow.
southern one? That's weird.
It's in the south. Nick, you're up
That doesn't
Pumping
make
iron.
sense.
Keep
for
going.
800. This is the current world record for a standard equipped deadlift plus or minus 100 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Deadlift world record, Nick.
This is great, by the way. I like doing these. Jeopardies are fun.
Plus or minus 100 pounds.
Yep. So you got a 200-pound window.
I'm going to go 750.
That's a pretty good guess. And it's wrong.
Ooh.
1,105 pounds.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wasn't even
Damn.
close.
Wow.
Okay.
I thought you were going to be in the window
Shit,
there.
I'm back to 0 now, I think.
I know you're back to 200.
200. Okay.
You're in third place, though. I got 400, and Jim has 800. He's in the lead.
That's so much pressure. Because if you get a bad one, it's like 500 points. You're wrecked.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to try out some potpourri for 400.
Do it.
Daily double
Bling, ling, 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 ling.
for 400. This is the name of a group of flamingos, the largest zoo animal Dr. Jim could take in a fight.
I think I could. I'd whoop one's ass. They have those thin necks, man. You just get a couple karate chops
Oh,
on
those
that
are very
bastard.
breakable.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't know about break them, but I'll bend them. Bend them like a straw.
Most birds, I feel like you could take in a fight.
I think that's.
They
well,
have hollow bones.
Not an ostrich,
Yeah.
man. They'll whoop your
No,
ass.
no. You can't be an emu either. Ostrich
Or a
and emu,
woodpecker.
right out.
I would also throw at any bird of prey.
Yeah. Or penguins. Those things can actually, in a water fight.
They're wiry.
Yeah, they're wiry.
I know this.
No.
Do you really?
A group
I
of
do.
flamingos?
It's not a flock. It's a flamboyance.
No.
Really?
Yep.
No.
It is a flamboyance of flamingos.
Click the button. Let's see. No way,
Damn.
got it. Oh, that is fantastic.
A flamboyance
Oh,
of flamingos.
thank you, nature scientists.
Yep.
Thank you for giving us one every once in a while, like the murder of crows. Like,
A
thank you.
congress of monkeys.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, it's not all monkeys, but it's like certain apes. I think
Oh.
are referred to as a congress.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Oh, that is a
Wonderful.
gift. Let's go geography again, baby. Run it
for
back.
600.
Feeling lucky.
This is a system of measurement that denotes distance from the equator in parallel east-west running circles.
What?
This is a system of
I think
measurement
it's like miles.
that
or
denotes
kilometers?
distance from the equator in parallel east-west running circles.
Parallel.
I think I'll give you a hint here.
East and west.
Are you
It's
sure?
it's east and west equator latitude. That's latitude.
Okay. It is latitude.
Yes. Crushing it.
Damn it.
Man, Nick was really anti giving you a hint,
I
too.
was very anti.
Crushing it.
Nick, you're up.
Okay, let's do the pumping iron one.
Pumping iron is done.
He's closing
Okay,
it
You got
out.
one
let's
more
do
in geography.
geography.
You got one left in
Geography.
geography for 800.
Ooh.
In longitude, this is the line that runs pole to pole through Europe and Africa that is referenced as 0 degrees and separates Earth's east and west hemispheres.
He has to answer it, right?
No,
No,
Why not? You just don't have to?
I'm gonna say
you
the,
can pass.
Oh shit.
but I need the points. I'm
You
gonna
do need
say
the points.
prime meridian.
Okay. The answer is, I'm sorry, Nick.
It's the can I guess?
Go ahead.
It's the Capricorn of Sagittarius or something like that.
That is correct. The Capricorn of Sagittarius.
Ah, suck a dick!
No, it's the
Suck a
prime
dick!
meridian.
Oh.
It's definitely the prime meridian.
Oh. All right. I guess it's not the Capricorn
Capricorn
thing.
of Sagittarius.
Damn it. I was really excited, man. I really swallowed the hook on that
Oh,
one. It got
God.
me deep.
Jim, this is what we're finding out today. Jim actually learned all of his geography knowledge from the song Age of Aquarius. That's been the problem
Oh,
the
my
whole
God.
I
time.
thought that was a thing. It's something like that.
I'm getting potpourri for 600.
yeah.
It's the other daily double.
Damn.
Now it's for 800
Ooh.
because the house
You're
rule is
running
you
away
have to
with
bet
this.
all of it.
Oh, you go grande.
Oh, no,
or
I'm
casa.
only in second place. Jim is
really?
still winning. Yeah.
Oh shit.
This was the official full name of the Nazi Party.
Oh.
No calling Frau Laura for hints.
Oh, damn. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I mean, it's like it's the same thing as all of them. It's like the People's
It's going to be
Republic
of
and-
Congo.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. They refer to Congo a
Yeah.
lot.
Flamboyance is in there too.
I
so-
really
Yes.
hope the flamboyant People's Republic of Congo. Dude, just do it.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know why I'm thinking about it. I'm not gonna get it. The Socialist German Workers' Party.
Wow.
I knew socialist was in there. That's the only thing.
Wow.
That's the only word that I could pull
I wouldn't have gotten
to
that.
be in there at all.
German Workers' Party was
The
I would never
National
have gotten
Socialist German Workers' Party.
that. I would have never gotten
Yeah.
that.
So I'm back to 0.
We would have lost respect for you if you did know it.
Yeah, it kind of been weird if
yeah.
you did. It's like, oh, this is easy. Like, what?
Let me just check my tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, I have my membership card right here.
Jim, you're up.
What's left?
You can go have a drink for 600 or 800 or potpourri for 800. That's it, though.
I know I'm going to get smoked on any of these. I'll go potpourri.
All
I'll
right,
bet
for
a shot.
800. This mythical Greek creature amalgamation combines features of a lion with the head and claws of an eagle. Correct pronunciations only.
I believe it's pronounced chimera.
God damn it.
Thank you,
No,
Penn.
I'm sorry. It's a trick question. It is griffin.
What?
I knew it as I was reading it.
Oh, no.
A chimera is like
yeah.
the tail of a lion.
Oh,
and,
no.
Yeah.
You bastard.
Well
Who did this?
done. Dungeon
Who
Scoop
did this?
and Dragon Scoop.
You sons of bitches.
You just lost the lead.
He
God
walked
damn
right
it.
into it.
Oh.
Nick, have a drink for 600 or 800
6.
points. All right, for
6.
600.
It was a trap.
Yep.
You sons of bitches.
Highland, Lowland, Speyside, and Campbelltown Scotch are all palate friendly. This 5th region's strong peat flavors more of an acquired taste.
Pass. I have no idea.
Oh, that
I
passes
can't
to
even
me.
guess.
Man, if you had just asked me, I thought it was Highland. Come on. I can't think of it.
Dig
I have
deep.
to pass. I have to pass to Jim. You know it, Jim?
What the hell are we even talking about?
Great, Jim passes.
Yeah.
The Isla. That's right.
Did you know? You didn't know that.
I still have no fucking clue what the question even was
It's about
about.
Scotch.
I thought it was about places in Scotland. These are
That
like
too.
states.
Where they produce Scotch.
Yeah.
It's
I thought it was all Scotch.
It's regional. There are different types of Scotch that
It's
are
that big
regional.
that there can be regions? I thought it was like
Yes.
a little island.
There are regions in the city of Las Vegas, Jim.
Kinda.
I'm closing out the category and the game. Have a drink for 800.
Here it goes.
This is the most money that Jacob the audio guy has spent on a single bottle of whiskey within $50.
Oh, that's fantastic that he got that
Closest
question.
to the number wins, or else Jacob wins.
Oh, interesting. So we have to guess it.
What?
I think we all
It's a
have
question
to guess
for
it, I guess.
us.
Jeez.
I think
Well,
this is an
obviously
everybody
not
question.
you.
I'm not entirely sure.
You've said it.
I'm sure I have.
Well, then how are we going to
And
verify?
at
on a
the time,
single-
it was in my brain.
Most on a single
I
bottle.
was on a single bottle. This is.
I
I'm
could
also a little
see-
concerned because, like, is this one of these things that, like, I've talked about bottles that I had, and I may have mentioned the price on those that people had given me,
Yeah, that's
and
a
so
good
now
question.
I'm worried that, like, oh shit, did somebody think that I bought like a $5,000 bottle of Scotch or something?
Yeah.
I seem to remember you saying this at some point.
Oh, this definitely. I mean, I've got a number in my head.
It's topical.
I'm gonna say $900.
Okay, Jim, do you have a guess?
I'm going to go lower than that. I think bottle that he has purchased, I'm going to say, I wonder if it's a trick question because he bought that one type that later became very rare. And then he was like,
No, I don't think
gonna
that's. I don't
sell
think
it.
that's going to be it.
Okay, I don't think it'll be like the value of it.
No, I don't think so. Because the question is the most money that I
Yeah.
have spent on a single bottle.
I'll say 500.
That was going to be my guess. I'll guess 550.
And we get plus or minus 50, right?
Let's see. Oh, I just get to pick it.
Oh, okay.
It's just Jacob
all
fills
right,
in
yeah.
the blank.
All right. I guess who won?
I guess I win.
Jacob wins. So
Hey, I was in
all right,
50. I
all
was
right.
within 50. I should get some points on that too.
Pretty good. You sure do, Jim.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that means Jim is in third place with 600. I'm in second place with 800.
Damn it.
And Nick wins with 1,000
I
points.
really won?
You did.
How did he win?
You came back. Well, because I crashed on my second scooperty, so that zeroed me out.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
And then Jim, after he found out that he might lose points by answering questions, stopped answering questions.
I don't remember that.
I
like
believe
kept
if you
getting
go back
right.
and listen to the tape,
Yeah.
I believe that's basically what happened.
Whatever. It's rigged. Damn that Chimera thing.
Thank you,
Yeah, that
Dungeon
was a
Scoop
tough
and
one.
Dragon Scoop.
Freaking
for,
torpedo.
I would have
for
said
sitting
that
in a
too.
Scooperty.
Yeah.
Torpedo.
Yeah, thank you. That
Oh
was
yeah,
awesome.
and you lost points on the Chimera thing. That's the
That's
other
where
one.
that's the only question I got wrong the whole game.
Yeah, I don't think you answered another question though, other than that one. After you found out you could lose points.
What are you talking about? Are you guys kidding? I
No, I
answered
don't think
questions
so.
the entire time.
No, you did.
I said
you-
latitude.
No, you answered plenty of questions. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, buddy.
I might just be wrong in the order of how things happen.
Yeah. The only question I didn't answer was the Scotch one because it was passed to me.
Yeah.
And that's the only question the entire game I didn't answer.
Okay,
I answered
Jim.
all the rest.
Okay, Jim, I'm
All right.
wrong.
I'm just saying.
I'm wrong, Jim.
I got the Chimera one wrong.
Hey, settle down, third place.
Oh, son of a bitch. We want to thank all of the bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, the Thera producers. Thank you, Smitty Scoop, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Kayla Lansbury, Judy Schneider, Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, King of Student Loan Debt, Dr. Ben Dawn, Crazy Banana Scoop, Mason Miller, Carolyn Albert, Leon Kassab, Kevin Chamberlain, Malia, Richard Macy, Cindy Ash, Newstick, Lord Colin Stewart, Dirty B, Ben Stanley, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Tess Miller, Take It Evie Podcast, Paris, Myra, Lib, Darren Cunningham, and welcoming Samantha Cohn.
And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
That's
Almost
all the
got that whole
time
sentence out.
we got
Yeah.
for this week's session. Want to thank Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast, our landlords, and thanks to all of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, Pod Therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share the episode on your social media and tag us when you do. You can find us at facebook.com/podtherapy, on Twitter at PodTherapyGuys, at Instagram at PodTherapyGuys, and of course at patreon.com/therapy.
If you want to submit a question to the show, ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I was robbed.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next
I
week.
demand a recount of these points, gentlemen. I was
Okay, hold
crushing.
on. Nope, you're in third place.
Shit, I need to call the governor of Georgia.